Hello everyone, it is time for me now to start picking apart this concealer. I am wearing both of the concealers on my face today. I have the darkest shade, which is Cocoa. That I have it focused underneath my eye area, more towards the inner eye to help cover the darkness. And then I have the second to the lightest shade, which is Creme Cafe. That is the one that I actually use to highlight with. So the eye highlighter. So just right underneath this area right here, my nose area, and then a little bit on the forehead. Packaging wise, the concealers come in the wand applicator. I actually do prefer the wand applicator. I prefer to stipple it on underneath my under eye area. It also gives me control as far as how much I'm actually putting on underneath my eyes. Let's move on to the texture. Now, I did mention this in the Pro Glow foundation. Even though the foundation is in a tube, the texture of the liquid is very liquidy. It's very wet. These concealers are no exception. When you first get these concealers, I recommend you open it a little bit slow. When you open it, the top springs up. I don't even think I have a wand applicator type concealer that does that. What I mean by that whole spring action, and it could just be me imagining this, when I just opened it and pulled it out, it just had like a little bit of a give, like a little jump, and it started to, you know, kind of shoot out a little bit. Just be a little bit careful. It moves kind of on its own. Now, when you pull out the applicator, I personally feel that there is a lot of concealer already on the doe foot. So if you're someone that doesn't like to use a lot of concealer, or you just want to build it up, I recommend just to scrape some off on the bottom portion of the wand and then flip it over and apply that underneath your eye area or wherever you're going to conceal. I also noticed that here on my desk, as I was, you know, pushing the wand back in and then kind of springing out and applying it, there was like little splatters of concealer on my desk here. These are just little things that I noticed right off the bat, and I'm just letting you know because sometimes, you know, I just don't want to babysit a product. I don't want to worry about is the liquid splattering all over the place. So I'm just letting you know, might want to just be a little bit careful until you can get used to the spring action of the container, the top lid. I'm going to throw this out there just in case you are somebody that you don't like these two words I'm about to say, because some people just, they cringe when they hear it. The texture of this concealer is very wet. It's cool to the touch. My skin felt like cool. I could feel the liquid. It was rather cool. And here's the second word. It's very moist. This is a very wet and moist concealer. If you are somebody that does not like that feeling on your face, this is not going to be for you. I do not mind that feeling. Now I wonder how many of you guys are like, she said those two words. Let's talk about the shade ranges now. There are 8 shades for the concealer. And here's something else that I noticed. The names I feel match to the Pro Glow foundation, which is good because it's nice to have kind of, the same name, right? Now, does that mean that it correlates with the colors? No. In my opinion, and I got both of them, so I have Creme Cafe, which matches Café in the foundation, and then I have Cocoa. I feel that the shade that matches the foundation, so Creme Cafe, this shade is actually my highlight shade. On me, this is lighter. Cocoa is my skin shade. It dries down to my skin shade, and then I can also apply it on other parts of my face as well. This is what I recommend. Pick the concealer shade that is the exact name as your existing Pro Glow foundation. Consider that one as your highlight concealer if that's something you want to do. Otherwise, if you're looking for one that's going to match your skin, I recommend that you go one shade down from whatever your name is in your foundation. Now, this is just, again, my testing. It might be different on somebody else, but if you are my skin tone, that is what I would recommend you do. I am happy that I got both colors because what I like to do is I actually, like I did today, is I just applied them both underneath my eyes and kind of mixed them, and they created a very nice finish. And actually, to be honest, it looks radiant still. So I'm happy that I picked up both shades and not just one, because I was just going to get the Creme Cafe to match the foundation, but to my surprise, it's much lighter. Now, longevity, creasing underneath the eyes. As you saw in the demonstration, you saw me blending out the concealer underneath my eye area, and it just blended out very well. Now, I feel, and I actually had timed it the first time that I did it, I timed it for 10 minutes because even though I did apply quite a bit of concealer on in the demonstration, how I normally wear it, it's not all that heavy. I like my little dots or my little stipple action. And I tested it about 10 minutes to see, is it going to dry down? Because it looked very shiny. It looked overly dewy. Or in my case, I like to say it looked damn greasy is what it looked like. So I timed it, and after 10 minutes it calmed down on its own. It dried, but it still looked very greasy. However, after I set it with some powder, same as I would with the Pro Glow foundation, then it just blended in, and throughout the day it looked good. It gives off the same radiant look, that dewy look that I like, that I get from the foundation. Very much similar to the foundation. If you are a current user of the Pro Glow foundation, you know what I mean. I don't test it to see 16-hour wear. I usually don't leave my makeup on for probably even close to 9-10 hours. I don't leave it on much longer than that. So I don't know if it's going to last that long. The other 2 times that I've used it, it held up fine. But it goes into my next point as far as creasing. I know that creasing and how it wears underneath the eyes is very important to some people, and I wanted to touch point on that as well. When it comes to creasing, it's the same with foundations as far as wear testing. You know how people come back and do their check-ins. It is on an individual basis because creasing is very personal with that person, because there's so many things that could occur. That own person's skin, is it dry? Is it too oily? Are you dehydrated? You just have naturally dry under eye area. Everything underneath you creases. There's so much stuff that comes into play. It's damn near impossible, excuse me for cussing, it's impossible to come back and kind of be like, oh, it creased this day. Oh, it didn't crease this day. To be honest, on my under eye area, stuff doesn't really crease underneath my eye area. The way I blend it out, the way I set it, I don't bake, I preheat, you know, there's so many things that can occur. So for me with this concealer, it did not crease under my eyes. And for today, at least, the powder that I use to set it is just whatever's on the desk, and it just happens to be the RCMA. As long as you hurry up and set it, because it is very liquidy, and it's so liquidy, it needs to be set. And I recommend not doing baking because it's just probably going to dry out that area, but you do you. That's why I only preheat, and again, on me at least, it was fine and didn't crease throughout the day. And last, I want to touch base on how this concealer is going to cover imperfections and darkness on the skin. Now, this concealer, based on the fact of the texture alone, I already knew on first try that it wasn't going to cover as well as something that was much thicker and much more emollient on the skin. Again, I use cocoa just in the inner eye area where I have the most darkness. It covers that. Let's say if I had extreme dark circles, or even if this little scar here that's still fading, the concealer in no way, shape, or form could cover that, and it didn't. It just kind of just goes right over it. So I would need to pull in something heavier to cover up any type of major imperfections or dark circles if I had them, or any type of darker scarring, acne scarring. Now, if you have a blemish, I do have, you know, healing blemishes down here. Again, the skin concealer one, Cocoa, it's not strong enough to cover, from what I could see, a blemish. Here is a concealer in which it does stay, you know, can help conceal imperfections, but I feel that the imperfections need to be minor. If you have stuff that is major skin imperfections, you can obviously use the concealer, but keep in mind the expectation is you should pull in something also heavier duty if you really want 100% cover whatever it is you're trying to cover. Now, the highlight shade, this one I am pleased with. It does provide a nice bright effect underneath the eyes. It is not heavy duty, so that's going to depend on how many shades up you might want to go. Maybe you can go 2, or maybe you should go up 3 shades if you really want something bright and intense. But I still feel that the radiant effect on the skin is still quite subtle, but it's there. Like, I can see it, and it's because I am a heavy user of the Pro Glow foundation. I can see that radiance that comes through, and the concealer mimics it as well. I hope I have touched points on a lot of the things you were thinking of. If this is a product that you are going to pick up, or if you already have it, leave some comments. Let me know, let people know how it's been working out for you. Everything's trickling in for summer, so I have a lot more drugstore summer 2017 videos coming. Next week is pretty much going to be like Lancôme week because I've got 4 videos from that. So I'm trying out and testing a lot of products. So I'm real excited that I have a lot of good content coming for you. Thank you very much for stopping by and watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or evening, and have a great weekend. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye.